now, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast. Here, of course, on the Let's Go Devils podcast network. I'm Scotty, along with Beer Baron. Short Sky will be joining us momentarily. We got Sam Woo.
There he is. Oh, yeah. Guns out, sun's out.
Yeah, man. Just about summertime. Might as well. Yeah.
There we go. Got the jersey on.
Woo.
Looking good. Got some things to talk about. Hello, everyone. Hit us up on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Twitch and everywhere else. You can listen to this wonderful podcast. Please like, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. So you know when in the holy hell we're actually going live here on the channel and talking some Devils hockey. There's no off season for this podcast.
No way.
Maybe some other podcasts for other teams and, you know, other stuff like that. They're like, it's the off season, you know, like the Mets podcast. That's already in the off season, basically. It's been in the off season since May. You know, but here
after the first pitch,
yeah, it was basically the off season for the Mets.
Family Guy had that. It was like, welcome to the Mets inaugural season, and here's the first pitch, and season's over, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. We're already in the off season for the Mets.
Hey, at least they won today in London.
They did. They somehow figured out a way to not blow it in the ninth inning with still putting bases loaded and everything. But either way, we never take time off because we love you guys, and we love talking about our New Jersey Hockey Devils. And there was some news earlier this week. A little bit of news actually involving the entire league in the history of the world. And that is that everyone's least favorite commissioner, Gary Bettman, announced that the salary cap is going up. Not a huge amount, but listen, every little bit helps. Because I know we've mentioned it more before on this podcast, and I know I've said it before. The player salaries sure are going up at a rapid pace. The salary cap is not matching that, but the player salaries are still going up. Man, if you hear about a certain goaltender from a certain team that we won't name, woof, he's commanding pretty big dollar amount over there. I'm hearing rumors of. So suck it, guys. Have fun with that.
14, something like that.
My gosh,
whatever it is. So every little bit counts, especially when you're still paying friggin' Ila Kovalchuk, even though it's not the biggest amount of money. It's still damn money that we're playing a guy that hasn't been on the team for what, like 10 years now?
I thought that was over after this season.
I think that's over. Yeah, I think that him
I don't
and
know.
Kurt
I
Schneider.
went to go. I'm
going to go visit
Capfriendly, but the Washington Capitals got in my way. Ugh!
Damn Caps.
Damn you!
I think it's gonna. They're not actually gonna.
Oh
do
no,
that,
it's still
right?
up. It's still up. It's still up. I'm checking now.
They're not gonna actually take it down for everybody else, right? It's because do they realize like how much fans
Only
actually
you are
look
gonna
at
be
it?
able to use it. Everyone else, no, but for you, they're gonna keep it up for you.
They're like, yeah, for you,
love
that
Capfriendly.
guy over there, yeah, we'll let you. You can use it, but don't tell
Capfriendly is
anybody
such
what
a
you
great
saw.
tool.
Don't tell
It
anyone.
is a
Yeah.
great tool.
Don't
Maybe
post
we
it
could-
on any of your social media what you saw over here. No screenshots. No screenshots.
Maybe we can do the budget version of it and do like
One more
Cap Friends.
Cap
Friends.
Cap
And
Cap
we will
Friendster.
Yeah, Friendster. Lime Cap Friendster.
My
your
Cap
computers will
My
be
Cap
safe.
Space.
Yeah, my
Something
Cap
like that.
Space. Oh,
My Cap
that's
Space.
a good one. My Cap Space.
There you
That's
go.
a good one.
My cap space only.
Patent pending.
Only-
Patent pending. Patent pending. Patent pending.
Only
TM.
cap
For all-
space. Only cap
TM.
space.
I got a good one.
What?
Oh,
I
boy.
like
How about Cappy ending?
Yeah. I
There
bet
we
you
go.
Robert Kraft would buy that one right away, though.
No.
So, anyway.
Oh, try the veal especially the city, folks. 12 o'clock show, completely different from the 10.
Exactly. And if you watch the Tom Brady roast, if Tom Brady were here, he'd be very upset with me. Because he got upset with...
he would walk up to you and ask you to stop doing jokes.
And be like, cut that stuff out. Don't do that joke. You can make fun of everything else.
Get it out.
Did you like that? We'll talk about it later. But
what
were your thoughts about that roast? I thought it was pretty damn funny. But
yeah, it's funny. It's a roast. It is what it is.
I thought it was pretty funny. Except I thought Tom Brady at the end was very like, and you guys, boop boop deep boop doop beep boop. You are. It sounded so like robotic and not it was Tom definitely Brady. Like, yeah. Well, I'm like, this is a kind of inside to what we're going to be seeing during the football season when he's in the Fox booth. Look at him.
Dubs. Puckapedia. I like it. Very good, Dubs. Puckapedia. Very nice. So, yeah, I'm not even sure when that's going to happen or whatever. But for now, we can still utilize it. And we can look at things. And we can talk some salary cap. Because, like we said, salary cap is going up to a whopping $88 million. $88 million. The same speed that it took Marty McFly to go back to the future, my friend.
Yeah.
When the cap gets to $88 million, you're going to see some serious stuff. So, yeah, it's great. And it gives
salary cap out of a DeLorean.
It's so good. It's great for them because it's going to give them a little bit more flexibility to possibly get another top 6 winger, which they still need to address. And possibly another defenseman that could, I don't know, step in and be like a stalwart in the back end there. And yes, how could I forget an actual goalie? And not to say that Jake Allen's not an actual goalie, not to say that any of the other guys were not actually goalies, but to spend the money to get somebody that's an upgrade, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard the little rumor that's going around. Now, obviously, the Devils have been still tied to Jacob Markstrom for quite some time. And I think that team up north that also never wins Stanley Cups, they got a little upset that their old coach decided to come coach for us, and they're throwing their name into the mix for Jacob Markstrom. That'd be the old Toronto Maple Leafs, according to Elliot Friedman. So who knows what's going to happen? We do know that Markstrom was ready to waive his no trade clause last year, and there was some.
Well, he thought he was coming here for sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, they literally had to go and ask him to do that. So that trade we know was really, really close to being, official. But now, see what happens. Toronto's trying to throw their name into the fire. They could probably use some goaltending, as always.
They could.
Much like the Edmonton Oilers are getting shown right now. Like they get shown every single year in the playoffs.
See, my only, again, and I've talked about it before, but my hesitation with Markstrom is his age. He's 34. Same. It's not a long-term solution. It's he's good. He can be great, but he's a 2-year goalie, 3 at max. Because then that over 35 contract stuff, kicks in. And we already have one goalie that's going to be over 35 by the end of this year. So that's an old goaltending core. That's an old goaltending duo for a core that's incredibly young. I'd much rather, if possible, finding a younger goalie that can grow with this core and us not having to find a new goaltender within the next 3 years that they'll have to get used to playing in front of.
And doesn't it also, you have to take into account what they would have to give up for him? Because if the asking price is high, is it worth giving up all that capital and giving up those players to get a goalie that's only going to be around for like 3 years? So, I mean, it's a good,
I don't think it's
going
to be as high for Markstrom, though. I don't think the price will be as high for Markstrom as it would be for
out.
Saros. If you want to go get a young guy like Saros, I think Barry Trotz is going to, ask for everything under the sun. But I think Markstrom, you might be able to get away with getting him for a little bit more. Same with Ullmark, but I hear Ullmark does not want to go to like a team on the East Coast where he's got to play the Bruins all the time. So
yeah, he's 35, and I know Ullmark's good.
Yeah,
Ullmark is 30.
Boston, I thought Ullmark was 35. Swayman was
Ullmark is 30.
But
he just plays like he's 30.
The other thing, I'm looking now. I thought he was older. The other thing with Ullmark too.
Check out Capfriendly.
I froze.
Wow, you still can.
There we are.
Yeah, check out Wikipedia.
Ullmark, when he was with Buffalo, was a much different goalie than Ullmark with Boston.
So that's
okay. He is 30.
That was a great.
So maybe that would be a better option, but I worry about Ullmark because of how he played with Buffalo.
So I
don't think he's the answer. Go for it.
Ullmark could be he could be a product of the system that he's playing in Boston. And if you look at Buffalo 2017 roster, which I sent you guys a screenshot of the other day, which had once beloved Devil Brian Giunta, Evander Kane, Ryan O'Reilly, come on, help me out here. I have Reinhart was on that team, Eichel was on that team. The team was pretty loaded. He was, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Miroslav Satan was on that team.
Should have been a Devil. He's the one player that should have been a Devil.
Satan should have been a Devil. But yeah, so we had they had a pretty stacked roster, and they had Ullmark, and Ullmark was not good. Like at that time, he was not good. And it was one of those teams that was like, we're a goalie away. And then he went to Boston, and then all of a sudden, Ullmark, because if you remember, he went to Boston, if I'm not mistaken, on a 1-year deal, like kind of a prove-it deal, and then he played lights out, and we're like, oh yeah, we might have found something in him, and have kept him around for a couple more years. But Devils legend Scott Wedgwood will be available. That is Codex's right.
He will be. He will be available. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think there's also, I see some, I see collect records on here, and it makes a good point. Is it better to go for maybe that short-term option that doesn't cost you as much so you can beef up the defense? What if you beef up that defense a little bit more instead? I mean, I know they didn't get to the Cup Finals. I had them picked, but just look what a difference someone like Chris Tanev made down in Dallas. I mean, huge since they got him from Calgary. So do you go with Markstrom, who can be solid, albeit not for a long period of time here, but do you go for him and try to beef up your defense instead because the offense is already there? Granted, there might be a hole here and there, but generally your offensive core is there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What about a short-term Markstrom who is going to be solid in there, along with Jake Allen, two guys that have, has Markstrom's never won a cup, has he?
No.
Right? No.
No.
And he kind of had up and down seasons.
Yes. Yeah. But he's had some good playoff runs.
He has.
So you have guys that have been there and done that. In a sense, Jake Allen, obviously. But you have veteran guys that you can put in these situations you probably feel a lot more comfortable with than being like, well, let's roll the dice, and this week it's Nico Dawes. You're doing good for right now, and now you've gone back to normal. Gary Schmidt, let's roll the dice and see how you go. Oh, 2 or 3 good cards. Wait, no,
you don't want to play goalie roulette. You don't want to play goalie roulette all year like we did last year.
Goalie craps.
It's what we've done for multiple seasons in a row. We've played goalie roulette. It's been multiple seasons in a row, and it's getting tiresome. And you got to have that guy that you're going to count on for years to come. Markstrom, if Markstrom is the one that they go with, then they're either thinking that Schmid, Dawes, or Poulter are the goalie of the future. And we've seen that and heard that song and dance before. So I don't know. I'm not huge on Markstrom. I didn't realize I've had Allmark's age wrong for months now, so he's younger than I thought. But I'm still Allmark is I don't know if he can do it here in New Jersey.
Well, from what I've heard,
and he already said he doesn't want to be on the East Coast.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be on an East Coast.
Not an option, really.
I don't know if he doesn't want to be specifically in the Atlantic Division. You know, is he okay to go to the Met? You know, or does he really just want to go out into the Western Conference where he's only got one game in Boston each year, instead of multiple games against the Bruins, every single season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about that. It may just be like interdivision, but I could have swore that I read like Eastern Conference teams, but I could be mistaken on that.
Okay.
Yeah, if only we could go in the future.
Hey, Boston Max. You should know what's going on.
If only we could go fast forward into the future, because I was hanging out with our good friend John from JCB Architects today. Him and our other buddy Kevin. Kevin is unfortunately a Ranger fan, but he's a great guy. But John's son Sammy is a goaltender, and by God, he threw the pads on in the driveway, and we're taking shots on him. And at first, I was just like, kind of like, oh, here you go, here. And I'm like, oh my God, this kid's like, he's like stopping everything I'm throwing at him. So then we started taking like harder shots. Like maybe he's got the goods. Maybe the Devils could use him in a couple years, but he's got a long ways to go.
Oh, you're turning into
still
a scout
young,
now,
still a little young. Oh yeah, maybe that's my next position in life is just going to be amateur scout.
He's trying
of third grade goaltenders.
He's trying to he's trying to weasel his way into being his agent too.
Beer Baron, there's a driveway up in North Hunterdon we need you to go check out.
I'm on it. I go with like an old school pen, and I have that hat with the paper and the brim of it. Come on, show me what you got, kid. I hear your sister.
He did all this with Mylac pads. He had the Mylac pads. He did it all with.
Oh, the Mylacs. You could, dude.
I hated them.
The sliding staves you can make in those bad boys.
No. But
because if you had the Franklins, you would rip them to shreds. The Mylacs at least held up for a while.
Yeah, but the Mylacs.
So the Franklin goalie glove was good for inline hockey, at least when I was a youngster, which was many moons ago. So
I had the Louisville goalie glove. There was no padding, but it closed like anything, and it was great. It's just you didn't want to catch it in the palm. But the best were the Cooper Belfort pads. The Cooper Belfort pads were the ones I wanted and I never got, but they were the best.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the kid down the street that had the big house, and like he always had the great pads, and everybody was like, wow, can we use them? And he would never let you like go near them. Like, you never put this stuff on, man. It just sits in his garage. Kid was such a dick. Anyways, so going back, getting out of our street hockey days and going back to talking about the team. I know there's a few people that were asking, or not asking, but just kind of bringing up Askarov, and I agreed. There was somebody, and I would have to scroll back. That takes effort. There's somebody that's saying, like, what about Askarov instead of Saros? But I think that I'm pretty sure they'd be more willing to move Saros than to move Askarov. Because first off, Askarov is not going to cost you nearly as much for the Predators as Saros is going to cost you. He played absolutely amazing for the Admirals this year in the AHL, and he's got a very bright future. Untested in the NHL, obviously. So, and then there's guys that are lights out in the AHL, and they come up to the NHL on the big stage, they just can't do it. So it could be a situation where they're not going to shake loose from Saros until maybe the trade deadline, if they're in the position to do so, just because they want to hold on to him and have that, situation where they bring Askarov in. Is that something that Saros wants to do? There's a lot of like unanswered questions in Nashville. And I think Nashville is kind of like a wild card in this whole situation. But if a team like the Devils goes down there and they really offer up the farm to him, there's a possibility that maybe they can make something happen. But I feel like to get Saros, it's going to cost it's probably going to cost over what you think it's going to be. And it's going to cost more than you want it to be. And you're probably going to have to say goodbye to somebody that you love.
I think it's going to cost a lot for both of them because, Trotz seems to be okay with the idea of moving on from Saros because he's got so much confidence in Askarov. So is it Askarov or is it Askarov?
I'm not quite sure.
Askarov? I don't know.
I don't even know.
I remember
Slappy with maybe it's on the briefcase.
Yeah.
Samsonite. I was way off.
I think either way, it's going to cost you a lot for either one of those goaltenders. Markstrom, I think you could get for a pretty good deal. They have that 10 pick. I mean,
but
honestly,
depends.
I don't know.
But it depends on how much the other team values that 10 pick, right? Because if they look at it as like, it's a weak draft.
If you're dangling that out there for Markstrom, like I don't think you need to dangle out anything else. Like I think that's enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should have to. Maybe like a real like minor prospect, someone who's not like really pegged to be, like depth sort of stuff, But I really don't feel like you have to. For Saros or Askarov, you're going to have to do that plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're going to have to.
And it's going to be like a Dawson Mercer, someone in that like vein is who Trotz is going to ask for. It's not going to be the only one.
I mean, the only advantage to Markstrom is we know he wants out, and we know that he was real close to coming here, so it could come at a cheaper price. That's the only advantage to that. And there's, that Carolina is going to be in the market for a new goaltender as well, because their goaltending failed them in the playoffs. And I would assume that maybe the Caps are going to be looking for a new goaltender because their goaltending failed them in the playoffs as well. If there's one thing, well, I know their whole team failed them, but their goaltender didn't help. In the East, you need a goaltender. I know Ottawa, I believe, is looking for a goaltender as well.
Well, we can give them somebody for a Kara Schmidt for Brady Tkachuk. Straight up, make it happen. There you go.
It was coming at some point. Yeah.
Yep, it was going to come.
I'm a man of my word. I say it every time.
We do have a seventh rounder we can get.
Yeah, seventh rounder and a Kara Schmidt for Brady Tkachuk. That's a slam dunk. I mean, we're losing out on that one, for crying out loud.
All right. I'm gonna throw a goaltender at you that's not. This is not of my brain. This comes from our good friend Justin and his son Jake over in the UK. Jake is loving this idea, and
hang on. First, did Beer Baron go and scout him in the driveway? That's what I want to know first.
I did. I took a couple slap shots, and that kid's got a strong glove side. He's got to work on the butterfly a little bit, but I'll tell you,
he did.
Really good.
By the way, congratulations to Jake. He made his England debut against Scotland this weekend, so good for him.
Nice.
Woo! Go, Jake, go. Way to be, bud.
So hear this one out. Trade because we have Brodeur and we have Jake Allen.
That's great.
I'm curious your thought. Because we have Brodeur in the front office, Jake Allen already on the bench.
Oh, I was like, I think he retired.
Hold on, just listen. Because there's a connection here. There's a connection here. You have a connection.
I see where you're going. I think Codex is on to you too.
Binnington.
Yep.
The only my worry with Binnington is how he loses his cool.
Yeah.
And he's worked with Jake Allen before, so. I don't know.
Jake Allen might be. No, I don't want to do that.
It's possible.
Are you serious, guys? You serious right now? Come on,
Binnington.
Why does he sound like such a dope? Come on, guys. Jay wins. Jay wins. Would y'all ready?
Sounds like the kid on A Christmas Story.
Don't go away from all that.
Or a Brian Regan character. That's what it sounds like. Come on, you guys. All right.
But yeah, just that was an interesting thing that Justin brought up.
It's an interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea because he's worked with the two of them before, and when he's not trying to fight the entire other team and he's on his game, he's pretty damn good. He's just a little bit inconsistent sometimes, but he did win a cup. You know, he brought the Blues all the way to the cup, so he can win. So it's just an idea that's, you know, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that one.
How old is he now?
30.
30.
So in short guy years, that's 35.
Yes, because short guys. Hey, I tell all my students, don't ask for help with math because I'm obviously not good. I'll tell a story all day long, not a problem. Math, I think it's pretty plainly obvious. Not my strong suit.
I hear you.
Letters and numbers don't go together.
No.
It's an interesting idea. I don't know if I would be down with that. I don't know.
See, this is why Capfriendly. I hate you, Capitals. I hate
know.
the Capitals.
6 million.
How much? Because I was going to say he has 6 million, but how many years has he left?
3.
3 years. So you're getting term at 6. At 6 is not bad. But he's got He's got games where looks, you know, like the guy that won a Stanley Cup, and then he looks like a train in other games.
Yeah,
and then he loses his mind and he breaks the goalie stick. And I'm gonna have to go and say, I'm gonna say no. I'll take a pass.
Okay.
I
wanted to throw it out there.
Volatile.
I mean,
yeah,
there's all kinds of things, and that was one that in the conversations I've had with Justin, that's one like
I never even
considered. It's I had never even thought of because I would never even think that St. Louis would potentially want to even move away from him. But if they're willing to part with him, you know, and with the Jake Allen and Brodeur connection, it's a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was
a possibility. It's a good outside the box thinking.
It is, yeah.
Was Allen on the team that won the cup? Was he on that team? Or is that
he might have been. Let me look that up.
I thought he was, yeah, wasn't he? Or am I
don't remember?
I'm looking that up now.
I thought he was.
Stanley Cup roster.
One of these days, we're gonna get this podcast will get big enough where we'll have a statistician guy just on a standby.
Just in our ear,
but all he'll tell us, all he'll do is just go like this. He'll pipe in and be like, "Guys, this is in the pre-show notes. This is in the you idiots. Do your research." And we're like, "Oh man,
that's supposed to be Sam, and he's taking a nap right now."
Yeah. Did they?
Actually, I like to chime in on the pre-show notes. We did that in season 1, but somebody decided to take all of my notes, spill it out, and then ask me a question, and I had nothing else to say because all my notes were used.
I can't imagine who did that.
Yeah.
No.
Can't imagine.
The one person whose head is down and like this right now.
So I stopped doing that.
Well, you gave me good material. What was I going to do? Not use it? Oh my god!
I mean, we are the most unprepared. We're the most unprepared Devils podcast out there, according to one comment.
In the universe.
Yeah, according to one comment on the reviews. Very unprepared.
The most unprepared. Unprepared.
Yeah.
Unprepared. Some guy sitting in his basement going, I can't believe I just listened to 45 minutes of this, and these guys are so unprepared. I'm gonna have Mom.
All they keep talking about is Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk.
That guy's talking about Brady Tkachuk again. Tell the
Jake Allen was on the roster.
There you go. See,
Jake Allen was on that roster, so
it takes us a minute.
Yeah, it takes us a minute. But hey, that's the premise of this show. A couple guys talking hockey at a bar. You don't know everything when you're sitting at the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's it. I never said at any point I was a real journalist. It's clear. Does this look like the body of a journalist? No.
It's not in shapes and colors. So.
Amateur scout? Maybe.
There's a driveway in East Hanover you got to hit up tomorrow afternoon.
The kid's got a wicked wrist shot. He still uses one of those Milik sticks, but, he puts the bend in it. And, boy, can he rip that thing. Top corn. Top corn all day. Holy cow. Whoa.
Oh, man.
What a shot. What a shot. You got it. See, Dubs, you got it right, man. You got to keep speaking it into existence, the Brady Tkachuk experience. And then, so this is not a joke. The other day I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about, I forget who the hell it was. It was right after the Rangers lost, and they brought somebody on to the morning show, and they're like, so what do they need to do? Like, what's something that the Rangers could do? And the guy was like, oh, one thing, they could go get Brady Tkachuk. And I'm like, you shut your mouth. You shut your dirty mouth. That is our thing, not your thing. Don't you guys start saying that's our thing. We started this months ago. We planted the seeds so long ago.
Yep. We got complaints about it. That's how long ago we started it.
Oh, God.
Like,
they're not gonna have the money for it after that Shesterkin request. So.
Oh, after the $35 million a year Shesterkin goalie contract, that would be great.
So here's an honest question: if Shesterkin became available, would you?
Not at like 14 or whatever crazy over the moon thing he wants.
Yeah, if he was a little bit more reasonable. Because, earlier in the year, he struggled mightily. Jonathan Quick didn't have the Renaissance year that he did. The Rangers would have, been in some serious trouble. But, I mean, once they got into the playoffs, he turned into his regular self. It's just the Panthers are the Panthers. And they're probably in my mind, they're arguably the best team in the league right now. I have them over Edmonton because they're just more well-rounded and solid. And you look, who are you going to take, Bobrovsky or Skinner in net? I mean, it's Bob all the way, So to me, Shesterkin played amazing in the playoffs. He's the reason why.
Well, he's the only reason they got through
the hell out by Florida.
Yeah.
So I can see them beating Carolina because Carolina didn't play well. And Washington just was like, okay, guys, we got our make it to the playoffs bonus check. Everyone just kind of pack it in here and don't worry about it, So
everyone gets that field day ribbon for making to the playoffs. Yay! It's a participation.
Hi, Kevin. Yeah,
but you watch Florida against them, and it was man, that was a whole other level. But the only reason why the Rangers were still in that series was literally because of Shesterkin, because the Panthers did what they're going to try and do to the Oilers, like Kreider and Zibanejad and Panarin. Yeah. They shut them the hell down. Like those guys didn't do anything all series.
Yeah.
So McDavid and Draisaitl is another story if they can do it for a whole series. But if there is a team out there that can do it this year, it's Florida with Paul Maurice. Yeah.
Oh, Paul Maurice that dude is so hilarious too. I could listen to his pressers like all day. He's very.
He's a joyful John Tortorella.
Yeah. Yes. He's like the he is the happy side of John Tortorella. Like if you gave John Tortorella a bunch of edibles and you were like, John, and he's like, oh, Larry Brooks, let me tell you. The sky is blue, my man. That's John Tortorella. Just zonked out on edibles.
What do you guys that sent that torch thing, or did I just happen to see it on Instagram where they were talking about? I think he was still back in like Columbus, and they were like, "Oh, the TV microphone picked up some questionable language from you on the bench. What do you think about that?" And he's like, "I don't give a." Just a four-letter word that I'm going to not say on this family-friendly show. But man, Torts is so hilarious. I never wanted him to coach the Devils, but I love. Torts is going to Torts.
He's great for entertainment, and he's in the city that he belongs in Philly. It's great with him being in Philly.
Yeah.
It's the perfect city for him.
But you know, speaking of the Panthers, I look at the Panthers and I have such envy of like how they're built, and like you look at the players on that team, and I'm just reading through. Like Max was just saying, you know, Sasha Barkov is amazing, dude. He is what Nico Hischier is going to be hopefully one day. Barkov is just a stud. Now listen, you look at their team.
I saw someone woo someone the other day on Instagram because when the draft happened, you know, the Panthers took Barkov instead of Seth Jones, and someone's like, "Man, the Panthers are going to regret this in about 5 or 6 years."
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Like, well, this didn't age very well, did it? That's a Sam Moose right there.
Yeah, that is definitely a Sam Moose response. But like, and a player, and JP just brought it up too. But a player that, that Scotty brought up,
Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett
bring that up.
would be awesome.
Yeah,
but you look at
grit. You look at how deep this team is. You look at deep this team is, and like somebody like Tarasenko is like almost an afterthought on his team. Do you know what I mean? Like you just, they're so good, they're so deep, they're so big and physical. I think Matthew Tkachuk might be my favorite non-Devil that plays in the NHL right now. There's
more than
the
Brady?
team is so. Oh well, maybe more than Brady. I don't know. Who knows?
You said non-Devil. Sorry. You said non-Devil.
Non-Devil.
Well, I mean, that would make sense because you've rarely mentioned Brady Tkachuk at all. So
never.
It makes sense.
Actually, I hardly ever said that guy's name. I can't even pronounce it correctly. Could what? So no, I marvel. So we were talking about when I was hanging out with my buddies John and Kevin today. We were talking about like how there's like always a shift and change and what team is the team that everybody's chasing, right? So at one point, it's like everybody wants to be lighter, faster with defensemen that are attacking. At one point, you want a heavy, big-bodied team that's going to be tough in the corners and you know, straight up the middle, blah, 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 blah. So, and there's always like a mold that a team will create typically will create by winning the Stanley Cup. And I think Florida has a really interesting mold because of how physical they play. Like you said, they grind you down to the point. If you watch that Rangers series, they grinded them down to the point that the Rangers it felt like they couldn't show up in the third period. They were winning the second and the third period every single game. Even the games that they lost, they were just beating the hell out of them. And I feel like that's what they're going to do to Edmonton. They're just going to grind them down, and they're going to shut down McDavid. Like if every time they have an opportunity to hit somebody, they go for the kill shot. They're hitting clean too. They had 56 hits in this last game. 56. And how many penalty minutes did they have? Not a lot of penalty minutes to go along with those 56 hits. And I might be wrong. I think it might be more than 56. But I'll tell you what, dude. They have
it's a lot of hits.
They have the right stuff.
It's a lot of hits. It's almost a hit. It's almost a hit a minute.
So let me ask you too. In your opinion, do you value Bobrovsky as being a top 5 goaltender in the league? Because you remember, everybody's like, you can win with a second-rate goaltender. Look at what Vegas did. Look at and all these other teams. Look, boom, boom.
You can win with a second-rate goaltender, but you cannot come out of the East with a second-rate goaltender. So it's kind of an interesting situation. It's hard to come out of the East with a second-rate goaltender, and you need that shutdown defense. It's
76.
Bobrovsky
76 hit. Oh my God.
I feel like
no. JP said 76 hits against the Rags. That's insane.
I feel like Bobrovsky was kind of a second thought up until the playoffs last year because he didn't even get them into the playoffs. Alex Lyon did that, and the Bobrovsky was put in the playoffs and was lights out. So Bobrovsky is from the beginning of the playoffs last year till now is earning that $10 million. Finally, earning that $10 million that he's being paid in Florida. So up until a year ago now, just over a year ago, I was going to say I'll say Bobrovsky was kind of like wow, he's overpaid. Now he's making a case for getting that money because he's He's the reason they got to the finals last year, and he's playing damn well this year in the playoffs and into the finals too. I mean, it did end 2-0 last night, right? I was out, so I didn't see the very end of it, but 3-0. Oh, that's right. There was the empty netter.
Empty net. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, it's up until, like you said, up until just over a year ago, Bobrovsky was not worth it. But now you would say he potentially is, but it's recency bias. If he wins them the cup, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that $10 million contract was great. We got a cup.
Yeah, and Ray Leo brings up Spencer Knight. So out of this situation, is there a possibility that Spencer Knight could be a name that could be thrown around there? Now, off the ice, he had some things going on this past year where who knows what that situation is. So I think he might be somebody that you can get on the cheap. But is that a project you want to get your teeth into when you're trying to find somebody that's going to be your true number one?
That's another untested. I mean, he's somewhat tested, but he's like tested on the Akira Schmid level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, do you really want that? Because Alex Lyon left and went to Detroit and had some troubles, and Detroit wound up being pretty decent down the stretch, I believe, if I can remember correctly. But then no one wanted that last playoff spot, and then stumbled.
Mm-hmm.
But I want someone that's established at this point. I'm tired of testing someone out. If you're going to test people out, at least give my phone a call. I'll go test myself out on the ice. If you're testing everyone else out, what the hell? Let me do it too. Other than that, bring in someone that's established at this point, because this is a core that we want to keep together, that's on the up and up. You want a goaltender that they're going to be able to rely on. So you got to bring in someone that's going to be established and somewhat long-term.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at these stats too for, the Panthers, man, like this team, it really does remind me of an old Devils team from like right around the 2000s. You just look at them.
Way more talented. But I could see where you're going with that.
I don't think so. Think about that 01 team. You had Elias with 96 points. They got Reinhart with 94. You had Mogilny with 80-plus points. They got Kachuk. Peter Sikora, I think, had 80-plus points that year. Scott Gomez, 60. You had Arnott with over 50. You had Brian Rafalski with over 50. I think Bobby Holik put up like 50-plus points that year as well. It's the same thing, and they're tough to play against.
Mm-hmm.
The Devils' defense would crush you, and they would be able to shut people down. And they weren't afraid to go into the corners and muck it up.
Yeah.
And
the Madden Pandolfo line, like you had guys that would shut down their top line.
Yeah. But I mean, even you got Jason Arnott, who's a big guy. I mean, Elias was in his prime. You get Mogilny, Gomez, and Breland on that next line coming at you. Then you got, a Bobby Holik right after that. I mean, they're built like that. They remind me a lot of those late 90s, early aughts teams of the Devils. And what do you know? They won 2 out of 3 Stanley Cups right around then.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
And today's the 21st anniversary of that 03 Cup.
There you go.
Tonight, we were all losing our minds. This night, 21 years ago, about this time, that the Devils won.
It was probably getting close because it's probably like an 8 o'clock. An 8 o'clock start. So probably close to this time. We were definitely getting we're at least halfway through the third at this point. But yeah, dude, 21 years ago.
My gosh.
God, it feels like it was yesterday for real. Like I hate that saying sometimes, but it legitimately feels like I can remember every part of every series leading into that Stanley Cup that year. I can remember being just absolutely going to game 2 of that series and just watching Marty pitch a shutout. Still don't know. I know people are like Jaguar was the only reason that the Ducks were in the Stanley Cup that finals that year, but still, come on, Marty had 7 shutouts during that run, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Marty should have been Conn Smythe.
He should have been
100%.
But whatever. We actually should say happy birthday to a Devils Stanley Cup legend, Grant Marshall. It's his birthday today. If you don't know, so happy birthday, Grant.
Happy birthday, Grant.
Up to you. Oh, now Sam.
It's
wants to come.
Sam.
It's time to muck it up with the celebrities. Now all of a sudden Sam goes on camera to come over here. Oh, okay.
Yep. Sam woke up from his nap.
You want to tell us about your text message with Grant Marshall? Go ahead.
No.
Come on. Let's hear about it. Come on, Sam.
I want to talk about my pet peeve of that Game 7. Still.
Okay.
I understand that hockey fans can be a little superstitious, but when we started chanting, "We want the cup," with a 3-0 lead with like 3 minutes left in the game, people were going, "Shh, shh, 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 shh. Don't jinx it." Shh, shh, shh. In section 217.
Well, look where it was coming from.
Yeah, I know.
But then again, it was a couple years later where we would watch a 2-0 lead turn into a 3-goal 90-second debacle. So that was kind of telling for the future to see 3
Remember
goals
when we walked down? We
90
walked
seconds.
down to the Danico's TV spot. Remember that game after Carolina did that 2-minute drill?
Man. Yeah.
Oh,
Sucked.
anyway.
Why you got to bring up bad times when we were just talking about good stuff?
Oh, okay.
Sam, how was your day at Game 7?
I'm gonna screenshot this and come back at it like maybe 2 years from now. That Sam Wu doing this. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep some receipts like Sam Wu.
Scotty, you shouldn't hold grudges. It's not your
shoebox.
Oh man, but either way, I feel like the Panthers are built a lot like those Devils teams. They're just solid all the way through. And yes, Marty Bobrovsky, stud friggin' goaltender who, if you do have a bad game here or there, they're going to carry your ass through.
Yeah. And listen, he played last night. He played lights out too. But Bobrovsky had some really big saves in that game, and you can tell. Listen, the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think are going to get swept in the series. I think the series will go 6, maybe 7, because there's no way in hell McDavid is going to let this slip through his fingers. I feel like he's going to come out and be a man on a mission next game. But the problem is,
ask for our picks.
Yeah, we already gave it to him.
Oh, I think I forgot. Okay, I didn't see that.
No,
I think we already gave it to him.
I got to give him my pick for the
I don't think he asked for the cup. Funny, as soon as the Rangers went out, all of a sudden Billy Dean stopped asking for picks on everything.
Well, he was so mad at me for running it last year that he took it over. Well, look what happens. I have to bring it up with him on Hot Pod tomorrow. Damn, Billy Dean.
We love our Billy Dean.
But yeah, I look at this Panthers team and I'm hopeful that Fitzgerald is taking some notes, because you said a great point about getting out of the East. You need a solid goaltender, and I hopefully that is his number one priority. But it also should be, this team needs to get a little bit beefier. And then on top of that the one thing that I'm looking at that I feel is more impressive than their physical game is, you look at the goaltenders that they went through. They went through Vasilevsky, they went through Swayman, they went through Shesterkin. Yes, now they're playing Skinner, but hey, listen, Skinner's got the Oilers into the Stanley Cup Finals, so you can't dismiss him that easily as well. Obviously, I don't think he's at the same levels as other guys, but I think it's going to be really hard for Edmonton to come back in this series, and it's just, agreed. If you watch that first game, was they set the tone. As they say in Shorzy, they set the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that team is just relentless.
Yeah.
When you have the puck, the Panthers are right on you, and they are just relentless. And that's on the coaching for making sure that team is conditioned and can play that style of hockey, and that's one of those things where they have the right players to play that right style. They're healthy. It's a great situation.
And you know what, too? You said the right word there, relentless, because you see so many games where it's like, well, They weathered the storm for the first 10 minutes. Like the Panthers, they didn't stop.
MO.
Like they did not take their foot off the pedal that entire game. It was a 60-minute just ass whooping. It really was.
Just
like they didn't stop. It wasn't like, we can let up now. Oh, second period we come out a little flat. No, like boom, they were on them the entire freaking game.
Shorts kind of nailed something too. Like if you're putting up 60+ hits, that's basically like a hit a minute. They're hitting you from every which way. You're coming across the blue line, you're going to get hit. You're going into the boards, you're going to get hit. And if you're watching these games, it's not like, I'm just going in to like put a body on somebody. It's like, no, I'm going in to blow you up. Like I'm going to blow you up. And my favorite thing is Bennett scored this overtime goal against the Rangers. And after he scored the goal, no, it was empty netter. Sorry. He scored an empty net goal. And Kreider was like chasing the play. And Bennett looked at Kreider and just jacked him into the boards, gave him a quick shot. And the best thing is Kreider turned around and looked at Bennett, and Bennett was like, like laughed at him. And right next to him was Tkachuk skating by. And I'm like, what are you going to do if you're going to do anything? Nothing. You're going to get shoved into the board like a kid in his locker. And that's it. And you're going to just have to skate the other way. That's the kind of tenacity that the Devils need.
That makes you have a second thought when you're carrying the puck in, where when you're going to the corner, it serves a double purpose. One, you're punishing your opponent, and two, you're causing them to start thinking twice about, do I really want to go into the corner, or what am I going to deal with when I go into the corner? And that's a huge advantage to have the physical and at that point mental advantage in that, in a series is massive.
Oh yeah.
And that's what Florida can do to you. And it's just, and I think I said it last week.
Psychological advantage, man.
Yeah. But watching them, I think it was game 1 or 2 of the series against the Rangers. And that was the real first time that I saw their forecheck, and man, it is a pain in the ass. And as a goalie, you're standing there, you're watching your team, they can't even break it out because they're just getting pressured, and you have to stay somewhat on. You have to stay focused, not somewhat, but you have to stay fully focused, because if that puck is turned over, that's a quick turnaround from the hash marks or just above the hash marks in on net for you. Mm-hmm. So you're not only going to do, not only tire out their players, you're going to tire out their goaltender, because the goaltender's always got to be on when it should be a simple breakout out of the zone. You can kind of like take a step back and be like, all right, cool. I have a moment. You got to be on basically at all times as the goalie. So you're tiring everyone out with that style of play.
And Sheldon Keefe talked about that in his presser with the Devils of trying to make that the attention that he wants to have on his team is the Devils are going to be pressuring the puck no matter where it is on the ice. High pressure, high pressure, high pressure.
Well, then and
if you can sustain that, that is, like you said, it's one of the harder things to defend. If it tires another team out, you just wear them out. That and that physical game. Yeah.
Well, at that point, then I hope that they bring in players that can actually do it, and not because the analytics says they can potentially do it. I want a player
on
that
paper.
can actually, on paper, this guy should have 3% more. Blah. No, I want the player that's going to bust his ass and actually do it. Not because some analytics nerd says that this guy has a 3% better, CO2 intake and blah, blah, blah. No, I want the player that's going to do it. I don't want stupid numbers. It's just, that's my worry. It's stupid analytics. I hate math.
If they put it on paper, I'm picturing Sam. Did you ever see that South Park where Randy dresses up as Princess Leia and like breaks into that something to like steal something, and they're like, our lead suspect is Princess Leia of Alderaan. I can see Sam Wu breaking in as Princess Leia and taking his screenshots with his phone so he has all his receipts, and then
or he'd do it in the Brodeur gear, and it'd be like, it looks like it's inside. Yeah. It's an open and shut case,
with the light,
it's clearly
going on.
With the goal light helmet. Yeah,
it's clearly an open and
broke
shut
into
case.
The Devils' facilities today
to take pictures of his own analytics department. Who
knows?
Man. Yeah. More at that on 7 o'clock tonight.
I could just see it's like that scene in Tommy Boy where they ask David Spade's character. He said, "I'm going to take it back to my the nerds in the accounting department or whatever the hell he says." It's like, here, figure this out. Figure out who has the best percentage of playing well and CO2 blah blah blah. It's just pick the right damn players. Don't go by numbers.
And Brooke here, I get tired just watching the Panthers play. Imagine if you were on the ice against them.
Oh. Yeah.
That's the attack that the Devils do need. Shorts guy hits it. Do they have the right players for that?
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. I've played against players that are just relentless forecheckers as a goalie and as a forward, and it sucks. It just sucks. Because
Chuck guy is good at that.
It's those players.
Let me tell you who can forecheck. Oh my God, my scouting department. I got my leaflets, my notebook over here. It tells me everything
I got Brady coming over to the driveway tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
And all it says is Brady Tkachuk equals good. That's all it says. He's got the goods.
Bring out the Milac pads and see how we go.
The Milac pads and the Franklin stick.
He broke my automatic garage door opener.
Scotty, go get your Milex. You know that weird ass walk when you have goalie equipment on in street hockey when it's like oversized when you're a kid and you just walk like this. Come on, kid, get in that. We got this kid Brady over here. He's gonna start taking some slappers on you. Watch out, he's got a hell of a shot.
It's kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy. Just don't duck. Don't duck.
I just picture some picture some Andy Samberg movie in my head right now where it's like Scotty with duct taped a pillow, like we took pillows off his mom's sofa and we just start duct taping them around his arms,
like Goldberg in the opening scenes of the Mighty Ducks when D5 had nothing and he had freaking newspapers taped to his legs.
When I played goalie, and this my chest protector was just wear 2 sweatshirts. That you'll be fine.
Yeah, you remember those days? Scotty, we got a guy coming over today. You might want to wear 4 sweatshirts. He's got a heavy shot. Holy moly. I don't know if you ever heard of this Kachuki guy, but
you lose 15 pounds. Play with your friends for 2 hours in the parking lot. Yeah.
Welcome to my world. Welcome
on the asphalt.
Welcome to the life I've lived for I can't tell you how many years. Welcome to my life.
You ever fall on that asphalt and you're wearing a t-shirt and you instantly get that burn, not from the fall, just because the asphalt's so damn hot. You land on your oh God, my arm. Dude, growing up playing roller hockey.
2nd degree burn, actually.
You wear
your wheels are melting by the end of the day.
We played with this kid. He never bought his own skates. He would wear 2 different size skates. The goofiest thing in the world. Anyways, we'll talk about that some other time. Man, good times.
Well, either way, I think we're coming to our final thoughts segment of the show here. As we wrap things up, we didn't really even get to talk about all of the cap friendliness and all that sort of stuff.
Unfriendly,
the unfriendliness.
The Washington Capitals.
Yeah. That's you know what I bet you the old Hockey on Tap might be tapping into that tomorrow. A little tap.
We
tap
might
into that.
We might also Hockey on Tap might
also
home.
Go to your home.
Hockey on Tap might also have a big announcement tomorrow too. So
a big announcement. Look at that tease. Ooh. So you're gonna wanna tune in for that. We'll talk about the old Cap Friendly and the big announcement. Is Billy Dean getting a Devils jersey? Is that what it is?
It's a possible big announcement. We have to make sure that we can announce it first. But
okay. Yeah. This is hot off the presses over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hachi.
It absolutely is. I'll tell you guys off air what the big announcement is.
Okay.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
So,
yeah.
Make sure
Final thoughts, Scott. Hurry up. I
tomorrow.
want to hear this announcement. I'm impatient.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow to Hockey on Tap for some Cap Friendly. We got Wednesday, Saturday the Fan Address with Nick Villano. And then I'm sure there'll be a woo report here or there. Sam's got some receipts he needs to cash in. He's got to do some returns. So be on the lookout for some Sam Woo cashing some checks that somebody couldn't. What is it? Body cashing checks you can't
cashing
write.
Checks
I can't remember.
You're writing checks your body can't cash. That's
you're writing checks your ego can't.
Oh, ego. That's it.
Your ego's writing. Your ego's writing checks your body can't cash.
Body can't cash.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's cat. Maybe it's your. It's got to be your head. No, it's the butcher's. Never mind. The butcher told you got a good look at a T-bone steak, right? Anyways, go on.
My final thought is, if you happen to know of any young hockey players out there, Beer Baron's Driveway Scouting, is looking for applications now.
We call it the Driveway Academy of doing awesome things.
The Asphalt Academy is looking for some applications. So bring your kids by and the old Milac pads, and we'll see how it goes. No, my final thought is just Fitzy, like we've been saying. I hope you're looking at this Panthers team, because this is the model. This is the model for like how you want to get through the playoffs. You want to make a deep run. This is what you have to do.
Tarp scouting ain't gonna like that one, Tom.
Yep.
Tarp scouting. Okay. Tarps off scouting.
Tarps off scouting.
Tarps off part of asphalt burn scouting.
Sponsored by Milac.
Sponsored by Milac.
In conjunction with Bert Kreischer.
Yes.
Oh man. All right, I'm done. Anyways, Fitzy, watch the Panthers. That's who we need to be more like.
Well, he should watch the Panthers, considering he is an ex-Panther, and he might have.
He's an ex-Panther.
He is watching the Panthers. He is watching the Panthers. I guarantee it.
So he's definitely got his eyes on that one. And I tell you what, I feel like this offseason is going to be one heck of an offseason. And it's interesting because I was thinking about this the other day. During the trade deadline, during the offseason, the Devils are always doing something, or at least that's how it feels these days, where the days of the big talk, and Lou does nothing are days of the past. So I can assure you that something's going to happen. And when it happens, I can also assure you that you can get the news here from some unqualified, unrehearsed, unprepared morons like us. And guess what? We'll do it with a smile. And when Brady Tkachuk comes to the Devils, I will do that tarpless.
You will spike that football.
I will spike that football through the center of the earth.
You do tarps off with Chico.
Oh, and you know what? Yes, yeah. I've already been scolded for that one. Real quick,
guys, act professional. Act professional. Chico's coming over.
Oh, that was the best. That was the best timing.
The timing on that, I had no idea he was walking over. I did not hear a word of that because I had Max and his family.
Sammy, where's the screenshot of that? Sammy, where's the
Max and his family?
Bring that up.
Oh, you're blaming Max? You're trying to blame Max on this?
Yeah, he got me hyped up. I got so pumped up. He's like, "Just do it. Take your shirt off." I said, "You got it." And the tarp goes ripping off.
wasn't the alcohol or anything like that. It was all Max.
No, it wasn't like the 40 Ann Crew brews I put down that day. Real quick, not at all. That had nothing to do with it. I was very warm. Real quick, next time we should talk about the Four Nations Cup or whatever that is.
Oh yes, we should do that.
They released that too, so we didn't get a chance to touch on that, but that's it. Sorry, Shorts guy, took up. That was way too long.
It's okay. Final thoughts are: I'm happy I can watch a stress-free Stanley Cup final.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's so
Yeah.
true.
And it's a fun one too.
It is.
I'm saying go Panthers. Want Florida to win. Good for them, I hope so. We'll see. Still a long series to go. I hear it's going to July. That's something else we should talk about. How many days off in between these freaking games? Give me a freaking hockey game! Come on!
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in withdrawal from the first couple rounds of the playoffs, but it should be fun. It should be exciting. Like we said, Hockey on Tap is coming at you tomorrow. State of the Fan Address on Wednesday. Woo reports. Woo woo! And then, of course, we'll be back again next Sunday for another edition of the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network. So for Beer Baron, for Short Scott, for the immortal Sam Woo, I'm Scotty. Let's go Devils.